Good evening and welcome. Hello. It is a lovely evening here on my small island off the coast of Costa Rica. We are walking to Seth's Games and Anime to begin to celebrate the closing of the 20-year institution that has been part of my life for 20 years, Seth's Games and Anime. It's time for DM tip. And apparently the word of the week is immersion. Immersion. Suspension of disbelief is probably a better word, because immersion sounds like you're going into the water or something. Suspension of disbelief in tabletop role-playing games. How do you get your players to immerse themselves, to suspend their disbelief at the game and just let the game work? Is it a good thing or is it a dumb thing? Can it happen? Should it happen? Does it happen? Can you make it happen? The answer is no, you cannot make it happen. If you knew the secret to immersion, to getting an audience to suspend disbelief every time they interacted with you, you would be a multi-million-dollar director in Hollywood. I assure you, because even the best writers, the best directors, aim for 60-40. Even the best horror writers, horror directors, and if there's any genre that requires immersion, suspense of disbelief, it's horror, are knocking it out of the park 60-40. There is no formula, there is no rhyme, there is no reason, there is no way to get your players to immerse or suspend disbelief. It's just this unspoken contract between the audience and the screen, the director, that I'm going to suspend disbelief for the next 2 hours and accept the fact that zombies are taking over and these idiots are too stupid to figure out that they could just go in that building and they'd be perfectly fine. That's suspension of disbelief. That's the contract. And I assure you, there's no way to do it. No screenwriter, no writer, no author, nobody has perfected it. But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And anybody who says, immersion is a bad thing or a stupid thing or whatever, and it can't happen, it shouldn't happen. Yeah, again, you know what? As always, play your game whatever way you want to play it. And if immersion happens, great. But there's no secret. You could have one game where everybody's firing on all cylinders, totally involved, totally immersed, totally in character, totally wrapped up, totally suspending disbelief, so far up that they're not even, looking at their character sheets. They're just so clicked in. And you're like, yeah, I'm the fucking greatest D&D ever. Look at me. And then the very next week, they're making a bunch of shit and fart jokes like the people from Critical Role that everybody's complaining about in the cartoon, and they're going, oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Oh, look, I'm gonna make my spell in the shape of a big middle finger to the demon. And you're like, who are these children? What happened to the people from last week? They were so immersed. And he's like, what did I be doing wrong that this week they're acting like a bunch of idiots? And the answer is nothing. You're not doing anything wrong. What did you do right? Nothing. Because there is no secret. I'm going to pull back the curtain for you here. As a working screenwriter, as somebody who has a theater degree, as somebody who has spent countless hours script writing and editing and reviewing, and has had long talks with the likes of Quentin Tarantino and long talks with the likes of Claire Barker and the long talks with J. Michael Straczynski and all these great runners who, took theater classes from Jane Bazemore of all people. And they will tell you the exact same thing I am telling you. There's no formula. There's no secret. There is no magic way to get your audience to suspend disbelief. You just hope that when your players sit down to the table, they are agreeing to the unwritten contract that they are going to invest in their characters, invest in the story, invest in the game, immerse themselves, suspend disbelief. I really don't like that word. I don't know why. It just sounds like I'm going underwater or I'm drowning. We immerse the body. Immersion. We immersed it in quicksand for 2 years, and Suspension of disbelief. That's what it is. That's the secret. You're hoping, is that lightning? You're hoping they suspend disbelief long enough that they accept the reality of this fanciful world when, you know, it's just a bunch of pieces of papers with some numbers on them and some odd shaped piece of plastic with some numbers on them, and you're standing there behind your little cardboard screen with some numbers on them, making funny voices and trying to get them to believe that the cave is filled with frightening ghouls, and trying to get them to so suspend the disbelief that they're actually tuned in and scared and responding in the way you want, as opposed to just being stupid and idiot and going, "I just set the cave on fire." Yeah. Because let's face it, if you watch, I mean, I just finished watching All of Us Are Dead on Netflix, and there's so many times when I was yelling at the screen. Now, I assume part of that is just, you know, translation from Korea to English and translating Korean culture to American culture, so I'm sure there's a lot of loss in translations, but there's plenty of times during that show where I completely lost my suspension of disbelief, because I'm just like yelling at them going, "Jesus, you're stupid. Why would you do that?" And that's the contract. That's the secret. Because for every time that I'm just like going, "Oh yeah, I know," there's another time when I was totally wrapped into that show. I'm talking about All of Us Are Dead on Netflix, the new Korean zombie horror drama, where I'm just like, "No, not my girl Hunjin. No, run Hunjin, run, no." You know, and I'm getting all angry and upset because they're killing off my favorite character. And 2 seconds later, I'm yelling at the screen. So yeah, there's no secret. You know, if Stephen King can't figure it out, if Clive Barker can't figure it out, Quentin Tarantino can't figure it out, J. Michael Straczynski can't figure it out, how to get your players to immerse, how to get your audience to suspend disbelief, there's literally nothing I can tell you that is the right answer, other than it happens. And when it happens, it's magic, and it's gonna feel great. But if you go in expecting every single game to be that make-believe level of role-playing that you think you're seeing on Critical Role, which we now know, of course, never actually happened, and it doesn't, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment, and you're gonna be frustrated, and you're gonna be angry, because I assure you, 60% of the time, your players are going to be the first 2 episodes of Critical Role, with just the goofiness, the laughs, the silliness, the murder hoboism, the foul language. That's just, you know, it's just going to happen. But 40%, I mean, even 10%. If you're lucky, you get 10%. If you're amazingly lucky, you get 30, 40%. You know, if you're the best DM in the world, hashtag, there is no such fucking thing as the best DM in the world. Yeah, you're lucky if you get that golden moment once every 5 games. So I know there's a lot of people right now talking about immersion. Some of them are saying, "Oh yeah, it's stupid, you can't have it, you don't want it, playing in characters, silly voices, Critical Role, bad." And there's some people out there who are saying, "Oh no, good, and this is a secret, and I know these secrets because I've been doing it so long, and just listen to me, and this is how you get them to immerse. Critical Role, good." The true answer is, yeah, it's a potluck, buddy. It's a potluck. You might get it, you might not. You might have your players totally immersed, they might never immerse. But as long as they're playing, here we come to the ending. As long as they're playing, fellow Game Master, as long as they're having fun, fellow Game Master, as long as they are showing up every week and having a good time, that's okay. And nothing anyone says about you playing wrong, you should listen to. That's fucking bullshit. You're not playing wrong, and do not let anybody tell you you're playing wrong or criticize the way you run your game. Because bottom line, don't listen to a word I say, don't listen to a word to anybody on YouTube says. I say this 100 times, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Please, as long as your players are having fun, as long as you're having fun, you're doing a good job, and that is all that matters. So immersion, suspension of disbelief, getting the game to be that perfect moment of role playing. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? Maybe. Is there a secret to making it happen? Absolutely not. Trust me, if you know the secret to, good evening, getting 100% audience, 100% participation, 100% suspension of disbelief every single time, why are you not a multi-million-dollar writer / director in Hollywood? Because they would pay you bank for that, I assure you. Anyways, I'm the Doji GM with today's GM tip. If you appreciate the nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, let me know. If you don't appreciate the nonsense, let me know, because remember, I can't fix it if you don't tell me what's broke. Above all, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs. We're at 650 as of today, so 1,000 isn't that far. So please suspend your disbelief, immerse yourself in the OGGM, and subscribe. Till then, enjoy this full moon and this lovely spring evening. See ya.